And now he's got Ledwaba back on the defensive. Boom!
He had no idea. The eyes of Ledwaba.
A 22-year-old unknown fighter steps into the ring with nothing to lose and everything to prove. He had no idea. In the eyes of Ledwaba, those words would echo through boxing history as one of the most shocking upsets ever witnessed. This is pure chaos. When Manny Pacquiao loses control and unleashes a storm that nobody saw coming. June 23rd, 2001. The MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas was buzzing with anticipation, but not for the reasons you'd expect. The main event featured Africa's reigning IBF Super Bantamweight champion Lilo Ledwaba, undefeated for 8 years, 5 successful title defenses, and considered untouchable in his division. His opponent, a skinny, unknown 22-year-old kid from the Philippines that most Americans couldn't even pronounce his name correctly. This fight almost didn't happen. Just 2 weeks before the scheduled bout, Ledwaba's original opponent pulled out due to injury. With promoters scrambling for a replacement, only one fighter was willing to step up on such short notice. Manny Pacquiao. Ranked just 3rd in the division, Pacquiao was so unknown that Las Vegas casinos refused to even take bets on the fight. The odds were considered a joke. HBO commentator Jim Lampley literally apologized in advance if he mispronounced the newcomer's unusual name. Ledwaba's team didn't even bother studying tape of their new opponent. Why would they? This was supposed to be an easy payday before moving on to bigger fights. When Pacquiao arrived in Los Angeles, he found his way to Freddie Roach's wildcard gym. Roach saw something special in the young Filipino and gave him just 2 intense weeks of preparation. But even Roach couldn't have predicted what was about to unfold. From the opening bell, something was terribly wrong, at least from Ledwaba's perspective. Pacquiao didn't fight like a typical boxer. He exploded forward like a man possessed, throwing punches from angles that shouldn't have been possible. This wasn't boxing as Ledwaba knew it. This was pure, uncontrolled violence disguised as sport. Within the first round, Pacquiao had already bloodied the champion's nose. The crowd could sense something special was happening, but even they couldn't predict the chaos that was about to unfold. Ledwaba, expecting a cautious opponent, found himself under immediate and relentless pressure. His trademark confidence began to crack as blood poured from his nose, and Pacquiao's relentless assault continued. Round 2 changed everything. Midway through, Pacquiao caught Ledwaba with a perfectly timed left straight counterpunch. The undefeated champion hit the canvas for the first time in years. The arena fell silent. This wasn't supposed to happen. Commentator Larry Merchant captured the moment perfectly. Before the fight, everyone wondered if a win for Ledwaba would launch him into superstardom. Now they're asking, is Manny Pacquiao the one destined to become the next superstar? Ledwaba got back up, more stunned than truly shaken, but the damage was done.
Just hit so hard that Ledwaba is totally on the defensive.
The psychological shift was immediate and devastating. The champion was losing to a fighter whose name he couldn't pronounce just hours earlier. What made Pacquiao's performance so devastating wasn't just his power, it was his unpredictability.
What a fight! They're trading vicious body shots at short range.
Every round became a different nightmare for Ledwaba.
And another. And a big right hand upstairs. And now he's got Ledwaba back on the defensive and bleeding badly.
He's got to stay on it. He cannot give him a break.
Manny would attack the body with surgical precision, then suddenly explode to the head with combinations that left the champion gasping. Round after round, Pacquiao maintained the same relentless pace. His conditioning was exceptional, his punches remained crisp and powerful, and his tactical approach continued to evolve throughout the fight. Ledwaba's corner frantically tried to adjust their strategy, but how do you prepare for chaos? How do you defend against a fighter who seems to break every conventional rule?
1,000 in the nose.
Shouldn't bend over at all. You just got to stand in position.
Blood poured from Ledwaba's nose. His breathing became labored. The proud champion found himself retreating, trying desperately to survive rather than win. Each round turned into a fight for survival as Pacquiao barely slowed down.
Pacquiao got away with a low blow. Joe Cortez was blocked from seeing it. Freddie Roach also told his fighter, don't follow Ledwaba around.
The crowd erupted in applause with every blow Pacquiao landed. The American audience, indifferent to the fight an hour earlier, now stared in amazement as they witnessed their champion being dismantled in real time by an unstoppable underdog. By round 6, Luwaba knew there would be no miracle comeback. During the break, his corner urged him to just hold on, but the despair was already visible in his eyes. Pacquiao smelled victory. He stormed out for the final assault like a man who had completely abandoned all restraint. The end came with devastating efficiency. A brutal flurry to the body, followed by a lightning-fast left hook to the jaw, then a crushing right hand. Luwaba went down for the second time, blood streaming down his face, confusion filling his eyes. The referee allowed the action to continue, but Pacquiao wasn't finished. The moment the fight resumed, Manny charged in for the kill. A few more devastating blows later, Luwaba collapsed in the corner, completely spent.
Joe Cortez has seen enough.
The referee immediately waved it off. For a moment, the MGM Grand fell into deafening silence. Thousands of fans sat in stunned disbelief, trying to process what they had just witnessed. Then the wave hit. Shock and exhilaration exploded through the crowd. An unknown fighter from halfway around the world had just ripped the crown from a decorated champion with ruthless dominance. I frankly had never heard of him. But I've seen and heard of him now. And you want to see him again? I want to see him again. That night, the boxing world shifted forever. Manny Pacquiao hadn't just won a fight. He had announced his arrival on the global stage in the most violent and spectacular way possible. The American audience, who had never heard of this Filipino fighter just hours before, was now buzzing about the new sensation who fought like no one they had ever seen. Promoters and broadcasters quickly realized they were witnessing something special. A fighter whose breathtaking style didn't just win fights, it left fans in absolute awe. What we witnessed that night wasn't just an upset, it was pure chaos incarnate. Pacquiao had lost all control, abandoned every conventional boxing strategy, and unleashed something primal that left even seasoned boxing experts speechless. Luwaba entered as the established champion with 8 years of dominance behind him. He left as a broken fighter who had experienced the full fury of something he had never encountered before. This wasn't just about technique or conditioning. This was about a fighter who was willing to cross lines that others wouldn't dare approach. Pacquiao fought like a man with nothing to lose and everything to prove. The American audience, who had never heard of this Filipino fighter just hours before, was now buzzing about the new sensation. Promoters and broadcasters realized they were witnessing the birth of something extraordinary. But what they didn't know was that this victory would trigger a chain of events so shocking, so controversial, that it would split the boxing world in half. The very same warrior who had just conquered America was about to face his greatest test. Not in the ring, but outside of it. The aftermath of this fight would lead to accusations, betrayals, and a scandal that would threaten to destroy everything Pacquiao had just built. What happened next would shock even those who witnessed this incredible upset, because sometimes victory comes with a price that no champion is prepared to pay.